Hi, this is Sue for Parkinson Me, My Journey with Parkinson's. So today I thought I'd talk about the many facets of the Parkies life. Now, if you look up the various symptoms of Parkinson's, there is a huge array of them. I don't know how many. It seems like hundreds when you look in there. But there are many, many facets of the Parkies life. And each of us is different because we are individuals. And I know my mum and dad were quite different in their presentations, very, very different. So I just thought I'd talk about a couple of things that I've been noticing recently for myself, and I'm wondering if the influence of both the morphine I had to take large doses of and also the anaesthetic that I had to have an operation has made things sort of edge a bit further on their way, unfortunately. But not anything big, but I'm just starting to notice some changes. And speaking of being in hospital, I remember when my dad used to go to hospital sometimes because with his Parkinson's they always seemed to have to tinker with his medications and needed to monitor him in hospital to see how things went. And, it felt like quite a regular occurrence, and I don't think Mum ever had to have that, but Dad certainly did. So all of us with Parkies will probably need to present at hospital for a period, maybe just for a checkup, a tweaking of medications or something, but it's an environment that we will get used to over time, whether we like it or not. Now, a couple of my observations from my time in hospital: I was there for my operation and following my operation for just under a week. I had my operation on the Monday and I was discharged on the Sunday, so just a wee squeak under a week. And now we're 4 weeks post-operatively and very much still in recovery mode. So I just need to say I am probably quite different from a number of people who find themselves in hospital, and that's because I was a social worker working in a hospital for 11 years. So I understand the jargon, I understand what people should expect, and I expect it. I expect to get the information that I require because it's my life and my body, and I feel that if I ask questions, I should get sufficient answers. Now, when I spoke to the team that came round, they did rounds every morning. So the doctors would go round and talk to each of the patients, and on the Sunday morning the doctors came round and they said medically I didn't need to stay there and that I could go home later that afternoon. So back to my experience of working in a hospital, we had many patients on the ward that were admitted and we worked with them, and then they were discharged, as you do in a hospital setting. And when they were discharged, they were given a comprehensive discharge report which said all about why they came into hospital, what their sort of baseline was, who was working with them, and any information about follow-up appointments or advice on what to do in the way of physio, or advice on whether they needed some showering assistance or a medical alarm, or a whole raft of things. We all contributed to that discharge report. Now, it may be that we were an exceptional ward, but there was no discharge documentation given to me on the day of discharge. I was told that there would be, and I expected that there would be, but there was nothing. In fact, I waited all day till 5:30 to get a prescription for paracetamol, and that was the reason I hung around all day. Still no discharge paperwork, and I have to say, 4 weeks from my operation on Monday, so that's in 3 days' time, it will be 4 weeks since I had my operation, 3 weeks since I discharged, and I still don't have any discharge documentation. So that's made it difficult for me because I'm a person that needs to know what's what. I need to be informed, I need to be able to discuss things, and I need to know how to proceed with or without support. So I left hospital and had no advice on physio, when I would be safe to start it, what I might need, and for how long. I think we had a bit of a conversation and they loosely said you may benefit from some physio a couple of times, but no real meat, no real information about what that looked like. Also, no advice given regarding sleeping positions, or not that I can recall. And bear in mind, I had a brain that was assaulted by not only anaesthetic, but also a morphine. So my ability to keep in my memory these things is not as it should be. So since I've been home, I have had terrible trouble sleeping. I mean, the worst trouble sleeping ever. And it's because I can't find a comfortable position, number one, and I can't find a position that feels safe, number two. The reason I say I can't find a position that's safe is because I have not been given precise pictures or information or video or any form that will show me exactly how I should position myself in sleep or in trying to sleep. To top that off with the fact that I have been verbally given precautions that I should adhere to: no bending over to pick anything up off the ground, no lifting anything over 2 kilos or 2 kilos or over, no twisting, no lifting. I think that was about it. So when I was in bed trying to get myself settled, I would go, oh my God, I think I just twisted then. And all of the things that I wasn't supposed to be doing to be safe, I felt like I was doing to try and get myself sorted in bed. So the upshot of that is I have had some nights where I literally have not had a single moment's sleep. I try sleeping in the bed, and after a while, say about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll come out and sleep on the recliner. And that way I can sleep mostly reclined in a similar fashion to that position that I held when I slept at public in the hospital bed. So yeah, it's been a bit of a eye-opener. While the care was good, while they seemed quite caring, and some of them more so than others, it is obviously a more acute setting than the setting I'm accustomed to. Where I worked, we always felt bad if somebody didn't get their discharge report on the day that they were discharging. They handed it straight into their hot little hands before they left the ward. And now I'm 3 weeks past and I still don't have it. Now the other facet of Parky's life, apart from the operation and all the pain and recovery and things to do with that, the other thing is some new pains. Now my poor husband, every time I say, oh, I've got to saw this, or oh, I've got to saw that, or oh, I didn't notice that before but it hurts, I'm sure there's a look of dread on his face and disbelief that there possibly couldn't be any other things that could go wrong with me. I think he thinks I've had my quota, and to be fair, so do I. But I have developed this foot pain on my left foot, which makes me very suspicious that it's Parkinson's, because as with most Parkinson's people, I have predominantly got signs of Parkinson's only on one side of my body, and that's my left-hand side. So if it was both my feet, maybe it was the nerves again, but I'm pretty sure it's Parkinson's. And it gets very, very sore, and I've got a toe that's sticking out at a funny angle. One day one of my toes sort of stuck up in the air. That was a bit weird. But the pain is in sort of like the top of my foot and underneath my foot. And it's not quite a cramp, but it's very, very sore. I had to rub it quite a bit last night to try and settle it, but it wasn't a nice thing. There are many facets of this Parky's life. There's many facets of what can happen to your body and how you deal with it. But I'm not too despondent. I'm just aware that this is a new thing that may be happening, and the not sleeping bit is not good. Not sleeping in my bed and having to sleep in the lazy boy recliner from maybe 3 o'clock onwards, and sometimes, like last night, I still didn't get any sleep even when I decamped to the lounge. So I know I need my sleep, and I know I need to address this issue of pain in my foot. So it looks like I should go for a checkup with the GP very soon. Oh, the other thing, I had a walking frame that I used before I had my operation, and had foolishly thought that I would be rid of it as soon as I'd had the op. Not going to happen. No, it didn't happen. Because I was sore from my operation, I still needed to use some kind of mobility support, and that was the frame that I bought in. So last week, I decided that I was walking quite well with the walker, and that I would try walking with my stick. So I tried walking with my stick. I walked around in the house, and that was good. I walked up and down the driveway, not so good. I got halfway up the driveway or the private lane, and then I had to stop, give myself a bit of a stretch, and then get to the end and turn around. And normally I would do three laps, if you like, but I was only able to do 2. So I need to try really hard not to push myself too hard, but to do my exercises as best I can so that I can get stronger in my back muscles and my stomach muscles to help with keeping my back in good condition. So I'm getting there, But I've learnt my lesson. I pushed myself too much for a couple of days, and now I'm back on the walker, and I'm easing back into exercises so that I can progress well, so without any setbacks. That's what I want. So my goal is to try and get to Rarotonga, first of all actually Queenstown, and then Rarotonga in May and June. And I need to be able to walk on the soft sands, and I need to be able to go snorkeling, and I need to be in a fit state to spend some nice time with my husband without worrying about my mobility and any risks therein. So yeah, there's a bit going on. I am making progress. I feel that I'm making progress. I'm so glad to be off the morphine. When I came home, I weaned myself off the morphine over a couple of weeks, and my speech has returned to normal, which is wonderful. My head feels clearer. I don't have to sleep for 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day. In fact, I can do without a nap now, and I feel so much better. And it's not that I don't get pain, but my way of dealing with it is I refer to it as mechanical means. So if I've been sitting for too long, I will get up and walk with the walker about for a while, walk up and down the lane. If I do that and that pain is still there, then I will go and lie on the lazy boy and recline, and that takes the pressure off my back. So rather than heading straight for the strong pain relief, I'm choosing to use other methods like taking a break, taking a walk, and then monitoring how I feel with my pain levels. So yeah, I wonder what those of you who are listening, what your Parkinson's signs are, how you deal with them. Do you use medications, and if so, what? It would be interesting to hear. So I'm getting rather hot in this room now, and I think I've covered enough for today. So this has been Sue for Parkies and me, my journey with Parkinson's. Kia kaha, be strong, be brave, be you.